Ever thought geography is just about maps and capital cities? From countries you can rent for a night to rivers you've never heard of that rival the Amazon, and national parks larger than entire nations, these facts will flip everything you thought you knew about our planet. What if we told you there's a town where you eat breakfast in one country and dinner in another? Or that one nation speaks over 800 languages? Whether it's a city that's sinking fast, a waterfall more powerful than Niagara, or an island you can walk across in minutes, this video brings you 100 geography facts so strange you'll question if they're real. Get ready to explore Earth like never before. Let's jump in. Istanbul, Turkey, is the only city in the world that spans 2 continents. Sitting proudly along the Bosporus Strait, it has one foot in Europe and the other in Asia. Visitors can gaze at Europe on one side and Asia on the other, without ever leaving city limits. This gives Istanbul an unparalleled cultural blend and a rich history as a crossroads for civilizations. There's a city called Batman in Turkey and a village named Hell in Norway. But the gold medal goes to the tedious trio: boring, Oregon; dull, Scotland; and bland, Australia. These places live up to their names, attracting curious visitors who wonder what makes them stand out. Geography is never boring, but it can be hilariously named. Being landlocked is tough, but being doubly landlocked? That's a logistical nightmare. Only 2 countries in the world, Liechtenstein and Uzbekistan, are completely surrounded by other landlocked countries. This means they don't have any access to the sea, complicating their trade and transport systems in unique ways. Antarctica isn't just cold. It's the largest desert on Earth, covering 5.5 million square miles. It dwarfs the Sahara and holds records for both dryness and extreme cold. In fact, Antarctica gets so little precipitation that it's technically considered a desert, despite the freezing conditions. It also holds the coldest temperature ever recorded on Earth. Russia spans 6.6 million square miles, accounting for over 1/8 of the Earth's land. With 11 time zones and borders with 16 countries, it's no wonder Russia plays a complex role on the global stage. This vast land includes everything from icy tundra to deep forests, and its sheer size makes it impossible to explore in a lifetime. Canada boasts the longest coastline on Earth, 151,000 miles. It also has more lakes than the rest of the world combined. Yep, geography gave Canada a water surplus. In fact, Canada has over 31,000 lakes that are larger than 3 square miles, providing vast, pristine waterways perfect for both exploration and relaxation. The Dead Sea isn't a sea at all. It's a hypersaline lake, almost 10 times saltier than the ocean. It's so buoyant you can float effortlessly. Just don't drink the water. Seriously, don't. It's known for its therapeutic properties, attracting people who want to experience its mud baths and mineral-rich waters. But because of the high salt content, it can be dangerous if consumed. The Netherlands has more bikes than people. With 18 million residents and 22 million bikes, it's a cyclist's paradise. Biking here isn't just a way to travel, it's a way of life. The country's flat terrain and extensive network of bike paths make cycling incredibly convenient, while also helping to reduce traffic and carbon emissions. Australia is the only continent without an active volcano. Sitting safely in the middle of the Indo-Australian tectonic plate, it avoids volcanic drama. Most of Australia's population hugs to the coasts, leaving its arid interior sparsely inhabited. With its water crisis worsening, even urban areas face challenges. The outback, which takes up most of the continent, is a harsh, dry region that people generally avoid unless they're working in mining or agriculture. Indonesia has over 18,000 islands, making it the largest archipelago in the world. Managing that many islands and the 136 volcanoes within sure keeps Indonesia on its toes. Indonesia's vast number of islands hosts a diverse range of cultures, languages, and wildlife, with some islands only accessible by boat. The Suez Canal connects the Mediterranean and Red Seas, saving ships from a long trip around Africa. This vital waterway has made Egypt a key player in global trade and geopolitics. The canal is one of the busiest maritime routes, carrying around 10% of the world's shipping traffic and generating significant revenue for Egypt. China's fertile lowlands and natural buffers have shaped its history. With many ethnic groups and varying interests, its geography has both protected and divided it. The mountains to the west and deserts to the north have provided natural barriers, while its vast coastline has played a major role in its economic development. About 70% of Japan is covered by mountains, leaving little space for cities. But those mountains also give Japan its hot springs, dramatic landscapes, and iconic rice terraces. The country's mountain ranges, including the Japanese Alps, are responsible for Japan's cultural identity and provide stunning scenery from every angle. Meghalaya, India, is home to some of the world's largest caves. From sandstone marvels to 300-foot shafts, this underground network is still being explored. Some of these caves are so deep and vast that they feel like a completely different world, home to rare species of bats, insects, and rock formations. The Philippines boasts one of the world's largest mangrove forests, which helps protect its coasts and sustain marine life. A win for nature and people alike. Mangrove forests play a vital role in preventing coastal erosion and acting as nurseries for fish and other marine creatures. Despite its name, Greenland is mostly ice-covered. Meanwhile, Iceland, its smaller neighbor, is greener and less icy. Someone needs to rethink the branding. Greenland's name was coined by Eric the Red, who wanted to attract settlers, but the icy expanse remains mostly covered in glaciers. The Amazon discharges more water than the next 7 largest rivers combined. With its basin home to unparalleled biodiversity, it's truly a force of nature. The Amazon's flow affects weather patterns worldwide, and it's home to unique wildlife that can't be found anywhere else on Earth. Saudi Arabia is the largest country without a single river. It relies on underground water and desalination to quench its thirst. The absence of rivers makes water conservation and management critical to its survival, with much of its water coming from underground aquifers or seawater desalination plants. The population of the world's islands is around 730 million, about 9% of the world's total population. If your geography is pretty good, you'll know that Java is the world's most populated island, but the second most populated is Honshu of Japan, with 102 million. In 2010, you could rent the entire country of Liechtenstein for $70,000 a night. This tiny country between Switzerland and Austria offered a big welcome ceremony, the keys to the capital, and bragging rights of being king for a day. Talk about a unique travel experience. Across the world, there are 7 countries with the "stan" suffix, meaning their name ends with these 4 letters. All 7 of these countries are found in Central and South Asia. By metropolitan population, the world's 4 most populated cities are all capital cities in Asia: Tokyo, Jakarta, Delhi, and Seoul, with 37.2, 33.4, 29, and 25.5 million people, respectively. The Danube River flows through 10 countries, from Austria to Ukraine, cutting across more nations than any other river in the world. It's the second longest river in Europe, and an iconic European landmark. The Pacific Ocean is larger than all of Earth's land combined, covering over 63 million square miles. To give you perspective, you could travel from Los Angeles to Tokyo, about 8,850 kilometers over 11 times, and still have more ocean to cross. Iceland doesn't have mosquitoes. Its cold climate, despite its wetlands, keeps them away, making it the perfect place for a mosquito-free summer. Alberta, Canada, is the dinosaur capital of the world, home to Dinosaur Provincial Park, one of Earth's richest fossil beds. Over 300 species of dinosaurs were found here, preserved in astonishing detail by the region's unique river delta conditions. Cameron Falls, in Canada's Water Lakes National Park, turns pink during the rainy season due to a mineral called agrolite mixing with the water. This vibrant phenomenon draws visitors from around the world and showcases Earth's natural beauty. The continent of South America covers an area of just under 18 million square kilometers, of which Brazil makes up 48% of this entire size. The same applies to the population of the continent too, which is around 442 million, of which Brazil accounts for pretty much half. Speaking of continents, Asia is the world's largest by both size and population, at 44 million square kilometers and a population of some 8.7 billion. It is responsible for 30% of Earth's land and 60% of Earth's entire population. The largest country in Africa is Algeria. It covers an area of just under 2.4 million square kilometers, accounting for nearly 8% of Africa's total land area. The country ranks 10th overall among the world's largest countries. The largest sea on Earth is perhaps a sea you might not have thought of. Well, for me anyway. It's a sea that I rarely hear about, the Philippine Sea, which covers an area of some 5.7 million square kilometers. That's a larger area than two Argentinas. Mount Everest is shared by Nepal and China. The summit of the tallest mountain on Earth is located at the border between Nepal and Tibet, making it a natural international landmark. Mexico City is sinking by up to 9 inches every year due to the draining of the lake bed it was built on. Some areas have sunk by over 30 feet, posing a significant challenge for urban planners. Chile is incredibly long, stretching over 4,300 kilometers from north to south. It spans 38 degrees of latitude, from the driest place on Earth, the Atacama Desert, to the glaciers of Patagonia in the south. Darby Line, a town split between Canada and the US, has the international border running through homes and even the local library. You could have breakfast in one country and walk into your living room in another. Australia has more kangaroos than people, with a population of over 50 million kangaroos, nearly doubling the 26 million humans. In Japan, pets outnumber children under 15, with 20 million cats and dogs compared to 15 million children. Pets are considered cherished family members, and Japan even has luxury pet hotels and cafes. Papua New Guinea is the country with the most spoken languages on Earth, with an astounding 840. This accounts for over 11% of all spoken languages on the planet, which is remarkable considering its population is just over 10 million. At just under 224 million, Nigeria is Africa's most populated country. It accounts for around 15% of the continent's entire population. As large as Nigeria's population is, it is still 6.2 times lower than that of India, the world's most populated country. Going by official UN names, the country with the longest name on Earth is the UK. Its full name is the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, which is 46 characters long. On the flip side, there are 10 countries with the world's shortest country names, excluding acronyms, such as Chad, Oman, Fiji, and Peru. Going by official UN names, there is no country on Earth that begins with the letter W or X. Of course, there's Wales, but that falls under the sovereign country of the United Kingdom. There are 11 countries in total with land in their name. Examples include Poland, Iceland, Finland, the Solomon Islands, and the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. The region known as the Middle East consists of 16 UN countries, along with Palestine, an observer state. The total population of this region is 460 million. Germany is the most populated country solely in Europe, with a population of around 83.2 million. While Turkey and Russia have larger populations, both stretch into Asia, making them transcontinental countries. Africa is the continent with the most UN countries, with 54 in total. South America has the least, with just 12, excluding Antarctica. The Great Wall of China, stretching farther than the distance from London to Auckland, is over 3 times the length of the world's longest river, the Nile. This monumental wall, originally built for defense, is one of the most iconic and vast man-made structures in history. If Siberia were to separate from Russia, it would become the world's largest country by land size. Siberia, covering vast stretches of Russia's northeastern region, is sparsely populated, but expansive in natural resources and terrain. Despite having fewer than 9 million people, Switzerland's economy is larger than that of Nigeria, Ethiopia, and Algeria combined. This demonstrates the immense wealth and economic efficiency of Switzerland, particularly in finance, pharmaceuticals, and high-end manufacturing. Japan's southernmost point is closer to the equator than Dubai, though it is located on an uninhabited island over 620 miles from the mainland. This geographical anomaly puts Japan's southern territories surprisingly close to the tropical zone. Jakarta, Indonesia is closer to Perth than to Sydney, despite both Australian cities being in the same country. This fact reflects the vastness of the Australian continent. Approximately 7.2 billion people live in the Northern Hemisphere, making up the majority of the global population. The Northern Hemisphere is densely populated, with major cities like Beijing, New York, and London shaping global demographics. China is home to 15 of the world's 20 largest cities by land area, with Chongqing being the largest at 82,400 square kilometers. These vast urban areas include sprawling suburbs and rural zones that extend far beyond typical city boundaries. Over 70% of Kuwait's entire population lives in the capital, Kuwait City. This makes it the highest concentration of population in one city globally, excluding city-states. Kuwait City serves as the economic and political hub of the nation. The lowest temperature ever recorded in the United States was -62 degrees Celsius, while the highest was 56.7 degrees Celsius, marking a 118 degrees Celsius difference. This dramatic range of temperatures shows the vast diversity of climates within the United States. Africa's entire continent has a GDP lower than that of the UK, despite having a population of 1.4 billion people. This discrepancy highlights the challenges many African nations face in terms of economic development. While the Amazon rainforest is vast, Russia has more than double the number of trees, with an estimated 302 to 642 billion. Canada also surpasses Brazil in tree count, holding 16 billion more trees, showcasing the vast forests of these northern countries. Bahrain is the world's most densely populated country, with 1,864 people per square kilometer. If we include Macau, China, it holds the record with a mind-boggling 20,800 people per square kilometer. The greatest distance between 2 points in the United States is a staggering 9,400 kilometers, from the Kure Atoll in Hawaii to Long Point in Florida. This distance is similar to traveling from London to Bangkok, showing the vast size of the country. The distance between the world's lowest capital city, Baku, Azerbaijan, and the highest, La Paz, Bolivia, is 3,668 meters. This elevation difference is about 43% of Mount Everest's height, highlighting the dramatic topographical contrasts. Rome, Barcelona, and Istanbul are all roughly on the same latitude as New York City, demonstrating how cities on similar latitudes can vary greatly in culture, climate, and geography. Hong Kong, with a population of 7.6 million, has more people than Western Australia and Mongolia combined. These two regions span about 4 million square kilometers, making the population density of Hong Kong particularly notable. Greenland is home to the world's largest national park, spanning 1 million square kilometers. If Greenland were a country, it would be the 30th largest globally, illustrating the vast, uninhabited wilderness of the region. Kinshasa, the capital of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, is the world's largest French-speaking city, with a population of about 17 million. Despite not being in France or Canada, it holds this title due to its colonial history and demographic size. Luxembourg boasts an estimated GDP per capita of $127,000, far surpassing the United States, which has a GDP per capita of $75,000. This positions Luxembourg as one of the wealthiest nations globally on a per-person basis. Kiribati, located in the central Pacific Ocean, is the only country on Earth that lies in all 4 hemispheres. This unique geographical position gives it a fascinating and rare global location. The world's largest lake is the Caspian Sea, which spans 371,000 square kilometers. Despite being called a sea, it is technically a lake, and its size is 4.5 times larger than Lake Superior, the second largest lake. Sweden, often thought of as having few islands, actually has over 221,000 islands. This large number makes it the country with the most islands in the world, many of which are uninhabited and surrounded by scenic waters. The Pole of Inaccessibility is the point furthest from any ocean, located in northwestern China near the Kazakhstan border. This remote spot is often considered one of the most difficult places to reach on Earth. China and Russia share the most land borders of any two countries, with China stretching 2,000 kilometers more than Russia's borders. Their vast territories intersect with several nations, influencing geopolitical dynamics in Eurasia. Oman is the world's least forested country, with just 0.01% of its land covered by forests. This stark lack of forested areas is a result of Oman's desert environment and arid climate. There are 195 countries across the world covering a combined 148 million square kilometers. That means the average country is about 759,000 square kilometers, just slightly bigger than Chile. But if we go by median instead of average, we get a very different picture. The median-sized country, sitting right in the middle of the list, would be either North Korea or Malawi, each with an area of around 119,000 square kilometers. The Nile, Amazon, Yangtze, and Mississippi are the 4 longest river systems on Earth and easily the most famous. But what's the 5th longest? It's one that most people haven't even heard of, the Yenisei River. This massive river system flows through Mongolia and Russia, making it the longest river to empty into the Arctic Ocean. Despite being huge, it doesn't get much attention compared to its longer and better-known counterparts. Although impossible to measure precisely, Mount Everest is believed to weigh around 161 trillion kilograms. This astonishing estimate is based on the mountain's approximate volume of 7.5 trillion cubic meters, multiplied by an average rock density. While it's just a theoretical figure, it gives you a sense of how massive Everest truly is. It's not only Earth's tallest mountain, but also a gigantic natural structure with weight hard to even comprehend. Brazil is the largest equatorial country on the planet, covering 8.5 million square kilometers. Being equatorial means it stretches across both the northern and southern hemispheres. But here's the wild part. Only around 5% of Brazil's land is actually north of the equator. The vast majority, a whopping 95%, lies in the southern hemisphere, which often surprises people who assume a more even split given Brazil's equatorial location. Mount Kilimanjaro is widely known as Africa's tallest peak, and one of the most iconic mountains on Earth. But what's the second tallest mountain in Africa? That would be Mount Kenya, found, you guessed it, in Kenya. It may not be as famous as Kilimanjaro, but it's still massively impressive, standing about 696 meters shorter than its more popular counterpart. It's a challenging climb and remains one of Africa's highest and most majestic natural landmarks. Greenland is part of the Kingdom of Denmark, which gives Denmark a total area of just over 2.2 million square kilometers, ranking it as the 12th largest country globally. But if Greenland were to become independent, Denmark would plummet to the 130th largest, since mainland Denmark is only about 1.98% the size of Greenland. So Denmark's ranking as a large country relies almost entirely on Greenland's enormous landmass. The only sea on Earth that doesn't touch land is the Sargasso Sea. Located in the Atlantic Ocean, it's completely surrounded by ocean currents instead of coastlines. This means it has no land borders at all, making it truly unique among the world's seas. Its boundaries are defined by 4 major ocean currents forming an oval-shaped area. It's a mysterious, drifting sea, floating entirely within the ocean itself without touching a single coastline. In 2024, China produced around 1,000 terawatt-hours of solar power, making up approximately 41% of the world's total solar energy generation. To put that into perspective, this staggering amount of clean energy would be enough to power the entire nation of India for a full year. It highlights China's massive investments in renewable energy and its growing dominance in solar power on the global stage, far outpacing every other country in solar capacity. The Volcanic Explosivity Index, or VEI, is used to classify volcanic eruptions based on their strength. The scale goes up to 8, the most powerful level, which scientists believe has only happened 3 times, once in Sumatra, once in the US, and once in New Zealand. Level 8 eruptions are known as megacolossal, and they're so powerful they can affect the planet's climate. These events are extremely rare but globally catastrophic when they occur. Mount Everest is globally recognized, but what's the tallest island mountain on Earth? That title goes to Puncak Jaya, located on the island of New Guinea. It rises to an impressive 4,884 meters above sea level, which makes it about 55% the height of Everest. Despite not being as well known, it's an incredibly significant and challenging climb, and it's one of the few equatorial mountains in the world that's permanently snow-capped. It should come as no surprise that China has the world's longest bridge. Spanning an unbelievable 165 kilometers, the bridge is nearly the same length as the distance from London to Birmingham. Driving its full length takes about 2 hours. It's an engineering marvel and another example of China's infrastructure ambition. This bridge stretches across land and water and holds the title of being the longest bridge anywhere on Earth. Canada is famous for its snow and icy winters, but it can also get incredibly hot. The highest temperature ever recorded in Canada reached an astonishing 49.6 degrees Celsius. This happened in British Columbia and shattered all previous temperature records in the country. So while most people associate Canada with freezing cold, this extreme heat event proved that even the Great White North can experience blistering, desert-like temperatures during intense summer heat waves. Imagine if GDP were measured in trees instead of money. Then Russia would be the richest country on Earth. Canada and Brazil would follow, with the Democratic Republic of the Congo jumping from 87th place by GDP to 7th. In this tree-based economy, forested countries would lead the global rankings, thanks to their enormous natural green resources. It's a fun thought experiment that flips the idea of economic wealth on its head. In 2023, Japan's official island count increased by about 7,000. But how did that happen? It wasn't due to any new islands forming, but rather advancements in mapping technology. Using modern digital mapping tools and updated satellite data, researchers were able to more accurately identify and count every landmass meeting the official criteria. Turns out, Japan had significantly undercounted its islands in previous surveys. Their latest study revealed they had been off by roughly 7,000. The richest people on Earth by GDP per capita using purchasing power parity are the Luxembourgers, with around $155,000. The US ranks 9th with approximately $90,000. Purchasing power parity compares what people in different countries can buy with the same amount of money, making it a useful way to understand global wealth. So while the US has the biggest economy overall, it's Luxembourg that leads when it comes to average individual buying power. The Maluku Islands of Indonesia have about 3.1 million residents today, but interestingly, the largest community of Moluccan descent outside Indonesia is in the Netherlands. Roughly 100,000 people of Moluccan background live there. This connection stems from the island's colonial history under Dutch rule. After Indonesia's independence, many Moluccans who had served in the Dutch military were invited to relocate to the Netherlands, creating a lasting link between the two nations. You've probably never heard of Inga Falls in the DR Congo, but it's the largest waterfall on Earth by flow rate. An incredible 25 million liters of water tumble over the falls every second. That's about 2 billion liters every single day. While it may not be the tallest or widest, its sheer volume of flowing water earns it the top spot in terms of raw power, making it a hidden natural wonder. Only 7 countries in the world have achieved net zero carbon emissions, meaning they absorb more carbon from the atmosphere than they emit each year. These rare examples of climate responsibility are Bhutan, Suriname, Guyana, Madagascar, Comoros, Gabon, and Panama. Their small populations, abundant forests, and low industrial activity help them maintain this balance. While larger countries struggle to cut emissions, these 7 are quietly leading the way in global environmental sustainability. The Caspian Sea is the world's largest lake, holding around 78,000 cubic kilometers of water. But how does that compare with the oceans? The Atlantic Ocean contains about 310 million cubic kilometers, while the Pacific holds a whopping 710 million. Combined, those two oceans hold over 1 billion cubic kilometers of water, making the Caspian Sea seem tiny by comparison, even though it's the largest enclosed inland body of water on Earth. The United Arab Emirates recently ranked first for the fastest internet speeds in the world. Their average Wi-Fi speed hits 297.7 megabits per second, and mobile data speeds reach an unbelievable 512 megabits per second. It's no surprise given the UAE's small size, high wealth, and emphasis on technology and innovation. These blazing fast speeds make them the global leader in digital connectivity, ahead of much larger and more populous countries. The Balearic Islands offer more than Mediterranean beauty. They're bursting with ancient wonders and delicious cuisine. Prehistoric Taliotic ruins and burial sites reveal a rich cultural past. Local dishes like sobrasada and ensalada highlight fresh seafood and regional produce. History and flavor collide here, creating an unforgettable experience. Whether you're exploring ancient stone towers or savoring coastal flavors, the Balearic Islands captivate travelers with their stunning blend of archaeology, tradition, and Mediterranean charm. Dubai's Miracle Garden is the largest flower garden in the world, showcasing over 150 million blooms. It transforms desert land into a floral paradise, with intricate designs like castles, hearts, and tunnels made entirely of flowers. Open seasonally from November to April, the garden refreshes its themes yearly. It's a vibrant spectacle of creativity, attracting tourists, photographers, and nature lovers alike to this breathtaking celebration of color, scent, and living artistry. Oceans produce over half the oxygen we breathe. It's not just forests doing the heavy lifting. Microscopic marine organisms like plankton, algae, and seaweed are vital players. Through photosynthesis, they convert sunlight and carbon dioxide into oxygen. These tiny but mighty organisms help regulate our planet's atmosphere and support life. Next time you take a deep breath, remember the ocean's role. It's a crucial, unseen force keeping the entire planet alive. Lightning can reach temperatures of 30,000 degrees Celsius, 5 times hotter than the sun's surface. That's why a lightning strike instantly vaporizes the surrounding air, creating the thunderclap we hear. It all happens in milliseconds, unleashing an immense burst of energy. This dazzling force of nature is both beautiful and dangerous, reminding us of the raw power in every storm. Lightning truly is Earth's own blazing high-voltage light show. The United States spans 6 official time zones: Eastern, Central, Mountain, Pacific, Alaska, and Hawaii, Aleutian. This means when it's 9 o'clock a.m. in New York, it's only 4 o'clock a.m. in Hawaii. These differences affect everything from business calls to TV schedules. Time zones reflect the country's vast size and diverse lifestyles. So whether you're sipping morning coffee in Chicago or catching sunsets in Anchorage, America's time differences shape its vibrant, coast-to-coast rhythm. During the Age of Exploration, ancient maps featured sea monsters, giant squids, serpents, and imagined beasts, to warn sailors of unknown waters. These illustrations weren't just decoration. They reflected real fears and mysterious encounters with deep-sea creatures. Some were inspired by sightings of whales or giant octopuses, while others were pure myth. For explorers venturing into the unknown, these maps were part guide, part storybook of dangers lurking beyond the horizon. It turns out Sudan has more pyramids than Egypt. When we think of pyramids, Egypt is the first place that comes to mind. But here's a surprising fact. Sudan actually has more pyramids than Egypt. Egypt has about 138 pyramids, while Sudan boasts a whopping 255. These ancient structures, though less famous, represent a treasure trove of history yet to be discovered. If you love pyramids and ancient history, Sudan could be your next big adventure. Did you know Morocco was America's first ally? Morocco was the first country to recognize the United States back in 1777, just a year after the Declaration of Independence. This early act of diplomacy led to the 1786 Treaty of Friendship, which is still in effect today, making it the longest-standing U.S. treaty. Morocco's support opened doors for American ships and international trade, creating a bond that endures more than 2 centuries later. Escape to paradise. Seychelles awaits your arrival. In the Indian Ocean lies Seychelles, a sun-drenched paradise with white sand, turquoise waters, and lush green trails. From snorkeling coral reefs to hiking in Mahé, it's nature at its most breathtaking. Local Creole flavors and island culture only add to the charm. As winter grips the world, Seychelles stays sunny and warm. Trade your cold boots for barefoot bliss in this island dreamscape. Hard to believe, but borders can be peaceful. The US-Canada border spans over 5,000 miles, yet has no military presence. It's the world's longest undefended border, built on trust, trade, and neighborly respect. People cross for work, nature, and family, while both countries partner in environmental and emergency projects. It's a living example that not all borders divide, some connect. When peace is the foundation, countries thrive side by side. And that's a wrap. But we've only scratched the surface of how wild and surprising our world really is. From shrinking cities to exploding volcanoes, rivers that flow uphill to countries split by living rooms. If these 100 facts blew your mind, just wait until you see what's in our other videos. So hit that subscribe button, tap the bell, and keep exploring the weirdest corners of our planet with us. Don't forget to like, share, and drop your favorite fact in the comments below.